All right, better late than never, everyone. This is Mac Antigua. You're on PA Alum Live on the Google Hang. And she's killing it, so I wanted to recognize her. You gotta love the T-Swizzle. So anyways, this is Mac Antigua here at Public Allies National Office. And you know how we do. We do this thing where we bring the network together virtually by hosting this Google Hang. And so every Wednesday or every other Wednesday we try to do this, host a hang, where we update you on what's going on in the network, share some great stories that are happening in the network, and profile and celebrate some of the great things that are happening in our network. So we have a great guest today. We're going new school. Sometimes I'm an old school cat, but I like to go new school. So in a bit, we're going to bring on our guest from Central Florida. I believe our first Central Floridian on the webcast. He'll be out here 1 second. But before we do that, want to share another story. Sometimes we'll do Twitter check-ins. This time I want to do a different kind of check-in before we get to our guest. This is if you're familiar with us at Public Allies Alum, when we send out our updates by email, we invite you to let us know if you're in with Public Allies Alumni. And so if you click on that link, it takes you to this quick questionnaire. We ask you, where you at? We want to know what's going on with you. We want to celebrate you, etc. Right? It's your way of letting us know that you're out there, and want to share a great story we got through that form that you filled in. And so I want to take a few minutes to celebrate this. I want to celebrate. I love it. We're another class of 14er. His name is Daryl Peak, and he is from Detroit, Metro Detroit. One of our newest sites had their first class. He just graduated. And Daryl Peak shared this update with me that I want to share with you. He goes, Mac, it was an honor to serve as one of the inaugural allies for the first year of Public Allies in Metro Detroit area. After graduating, I was offered the position of Community Resource Specialist for the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Eastern District of Michigan. So I established and maintain communications with the Attorney's Office and initiate strategies to enhance cooperative efforts focused on crime prevention and intervention as well as prisoner reentry. I can truly say I would not have been considered for this position if it was not for the work that I had done serving as an ally. And so I'm forever indebted to Public Allies and will continue to assist in the organization endeavors as an alum. So, hey, congratulations, Daryl, on getting the gig. And thanks so much for letting us know that you're in with Public Allies. If you want to be within Public Allies, check in the description here. We'll click you a link where you can share a story of what's going on with you, and we'll name check you. So, Daryl, thanks so much. You're one of our freshest alums in Metro Detroit. Keep the vibe going. Had a pleasure meeting Marcus Brantley, one of your fellow alum, out there on our Black Male Achievement Summit we did a few months ago. So, always love hearing about Detroit. Detroit never stops hustling, or Detroit hustles harder. It's one of those two things. Either way, thanks for letting us know. And if you want to let us know, we'd love to share your story at upcoming telecasts. All right, let's get to our main event. We love to bring our alum to update on what's going on with them and celebrate them. And I want to share this story. We've got an alum who graduated from Central Florida, class of 2014. Although he's no spring chicken, as he will admit himself, and he's had a unique journey. He's worked in several careers already, but we'd love to hear about what's going on with him. So we'll talk a little origin story with him in a bit. But let me introduce to you right now. Mr. Matt Darby is on the telecast. Matt, welcome aboard. Take yourself on mute. You're coming in from Central Florida. Is that correct?
Sure. Yes, I am. Thank you for having me.
Oh, man. Thanks for joining us here.
Go by Matt. I go by Matt.
Matt. Thank you, Matt. Great to have you here. So, Matt, what am I interrupting you? What should you usually be doing at this time besides us wasting your time?
I mean, I'm normally taking about getting my lunch right about now, but so you're good. But no, I work with the Central Florida Jobs Initiative, and we're a job readiness training program. So I'm in the process. My title is Volunteer and Resource Coordinator. So I am basically in charge of getting and organizing all the volunteers for our programs, as well as gaining local community resources for our participants and getting partnerships in the community.
Right on, right on. So I'm throwing a photo up there of you in action, you making it happen. So, well, before you thanks for sharing us about the present. If you don't mind, would love to talk a little bit about how you came to your public allies, because you had said in our pre-interview that you're one of the older public allies that's probably gone through the game. So you've had a couple. What have been the different? You've had a couple stages, right? So what was sort of the first stage of your career?
Oh, well, coming out of high school, I was a highly recruited football player. I went to UCLA on the West Coast on a football scholarship, graduated there, and was fortunate enough to be drafted by the Buffalo Bills in the 5th round of the '92 NFL Draft. Played with them for 4 years. Was able to, again, fortunate enough to play in a couple Super Bowls. Which is a very unique experience. It's a dream experience for any young kid wanting to play football. And then went on to play 2 years in Arizona after that, before injuries knocked me out of the game.
Yeah.
So that was the beginning of my careers. And then after that, I went and bought a little small business, had that for a couple of years in the arts, went into personal training, business and sales. So I've been around the block.
Wow. Wow, love it. And you might be the only ally out of the 5,600 who's played in the Super Bowl. That might be one of the many things that makes you unique. You have a
Super Bowl. Yes.
You have an AFC Championship ring. You have 2 of them, so it's probably very few of us that can ever say that. Awesome. Well, it's great to hear that. And then what inspired you to just, you could do almost anything because you have all these experiences. What was it specifically about the public allies space? It's only been a few months, but what still remains for you? What still resonates for you from that experience of being an ally? And as you do that, as you talk, I'm going to throw a couple photos of you with your fellow allies there. So.
Now I know you broke up a little bit. So are you asking me what did I basically take from my experience at Public Allies?
Yeah, and as well as what really sticks with you. Yeah, what sticks with you and what really attracted you to that.
Well, what's really stuck with me is basically I got into Public Allies, or applied to Public Allies, because I wanted to transition into the nonprofit field. So I was in business and sales for a while. Like I said, I was in the for-profit world for a long time, and I wanted to transition into the nonprofit world, but I was in that catch-22 where I couldn't get work because I didn't have any experience in the nonprofit world, and couldn't get the experience because I couldn't find a job in it. So I found Public Allies was a perfect vehicle for me to get that experience, as well as the leadership training aspect of it, which is what drew me to the particular program. So getting all that experience and getting the leadership training allowed me to apply to jobs with that experience on my resume, and allowed me to get the job that I have now.
Wow. I just want to say, like, how crazy it almost sounds. Like it's that weird vicious cycle, right? Like you wanted to work in this field to help people make things better, but they're like, well, you don't have experience, so we can't hire you, right? But it's like, but I got 2 championship rings. Come on, like covering a 5-yard out. That's got to be relative to like something here. I mean, like, I mastered a playbook. I broke down tons of film. I've represented things. So
and with everything that sports teach you, especially if you're fortunate enough to make it to a pro level, there's a lot of great things that are applicable that can transfer to the business world. But for whatever reason, it wouldn't get me in the door as far as getting an interview or anything else. So I had to find another way. Instead of going through the front door, I had to go through the back door, and I was able to do that.
Awesome, Matt. And weave it for me. What have you found that has been common in terms of leadership in those 3 fields, being pro athletics, being an entrepreneur, a businessman, being now working in community work, nonprofits? Do you see a thread, a consistency?
Well, I think with everything, it's like the model for Public Allies. Everyone can lead, and anybody can lead. So whether you're coming from the impoverished household or community, or whether you're privileged, whether you have a lot of money or whether you're black, white, or whatever, you can lead. If you just find your niche, in this world or in the business world or wherever we want to do, and if it matches your skill set and it matches your desires, then I think you can lead.
Mm-hmm. Right on. Great. And we got together, we connected because you were representing Central Florida when we put together our first Black Male Achievement Summit in May and brought together 30 alumni, staff, even current allies, because you were an ally at that time, to come together to rethink how public allies with all of our assets could reposition or best advance Black male achievement. So I would love to hear for you sort of what inspired you to say, hey, man, I want to be part of that meeting. And two, what did you discover as a result of being in that space with everybody else?
Well, I wanted to take part in it just because I think it was a historic meeting. Again, bringing 30 black males from, again, a wide variety of backgrounds and diverse experiences in the world, young, old, business people, guys who were just graduated high school. So there was a wide range of experience there. And I think it was just fertile ground to come up with different ideas. To brainstorm together. And I think that was the beautiful part of it, is that, even though we are black males, we were straight, gay, transgender, we were everything from every walk of life. We all had a common goal there as far as, increasing or improving the black male achievement or closing that gap for black males in America. And we were able to come up with some great ideas. Brainstorm together, and yes, there were differences, but hey, we all came there with the same goal, and I think we had some good progress.
Mm-hmm. So from your own sense, right, like we came up with some recommendations. I'd like to think that you not only added to that, but maybe you took something away. How do you say for yourself individually, it could be your personal work or your professional work, right, that you see yourself advancing this initiative? How do you see yourself doing it where you're in Orlando?
Well, I see myself advancing black male achievement just by improving myself, by advancing my career to the point where I can not only support myself, but support others to come up to the level that I eventually want to be at as well. So in order to help provide resources for younger black males or provide mentors or something else to guide them in the right direction, to get them on that track, or off of that, that track, going to prison or getting in trouble with the law or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Right on. So, man, I appreciate you taking time to let us know about your story. Tell me something what you're excited about with the Central Florida Jobs Initiative. Obviously you could do any job you can, right, because you've worked in several fields, but you've been inspired to do this work. What about working in Central Florida Jobs Initiative really fires you up, really gets you going, that you chose that?
Well, the Central Florida Jobs Initiative is a great program. Looking at it, working in it now, I have discovered that employment is central to a lot of the issues that are affecting not only blacks, Hispanics, but everybody, because it's centralized to education. It's tied to education. It's tied to healthcare. It's tied to domestic violence. It's tied to a lot of things. So if someone's not able to find gainful employment and provide for themselves or for their family, then it's kind of like a breeding ground for other issues that are happening in society. So I think it's kind of like a hub that provides access to or to improve other areas in your life. Mm-hmm. So it's a great starting point for what I want to get to.
Awesome. And Matt, complete this sentence for me, because now you're an expert in this field. You've been working now at this. It would be even better if, right, ... How would you complete that? Now, because you're seeing how employment affects all these other issues. You're just seeing how public policy is doing this. Like, from your vantage point, what would be even better if? What could be better? That would create a better result for the folks you're working with?
For the folks that I'm working with, it would be even better if. Wow, that's a good.
We ask the hard questions. We ask the hard questions here, Matt. We don't throw all softballs. We don't throw all softballs at you. Don't worry, we'll ask you to break down the cover two. That'll be the next one. Break down the cover two.
That might be easier than this question. Let's see. It would be even better if. Let's see. Be even better if. I think there's just a lot of people who are are in need, but I think that they don't know the resources that are out there in their community. So it would be even better if they had access to those resources on a regular basis, or were made aware of those resources in their community so they can get better. A lot of people want to get better. They just don't know where to turn to get that help to improve themselves.
I also think, and maybe you don't have to agree with me totally, but based off that, I think it'd be even better if we had a narrative that was different, right, about those folks. So that's what I'm hearing you say, right? Like, it's easy to vilify, right? It's easy to say, oh, people are lazy. What I'm hearing you say is people want dignity, right? People want to do this stuff. And it's just, how do we create these pathways and access so folks can support themselves, support the people that they love and care about, and get themselves going forward, as opposed to being clients, right? As opposed to being outside of it. So, well, man, Matt, what I don't, it's not fair that I get to ask all the questions. Is there any other comments, or maybe a question you have for me that I should respond back? Because I realize it's not fair. Putting you on the spot. Asking you hard questions. Is there anything that comes to mind?
I guess my question for you would be, as far as the direction. I know we changed over leadership at Public Allies. Paul, it was great seeing Paul. And that was a wonderful thing about the Black Male Achievement trip. Seeing Paul, this little white guy, leading a bunch of black males in this initiative. So that was the beauty of it. That was part of the beauty of it. And but yeah, I would like to get your information as far as where you see Public Allies heading from here.
Yeah, well, I mean, we have a new leader, Dr. Adrian Wilson, who is now 6 weeks in on the job. He's even in the office today, so it's great to have him. He's based out of DC, and I'm really excited about having him on board, because he's got a proven track record as someone who works to reduce poverty, to create equity, right? Like, ultimately, that's, I think, what we're about. Just like what you talked about in the work that you do every day, Matt, which is trying to connect people onto pathways so that they can be part of something bigger, right, and making our communities better. And that's what our country needs right now. Adrian Wilson not only has a proven track record of that, but he's lived that story. Matt, the guy grew up in rural poverty in Louisiana. He talks about in the 70s, he didn't even have running water in his house, right? But able, through a community networks, through his persistence in education, through his work, now is in a position where he's able to not only inspire by what he's done, but his own story is that. So I'm excited about where we're going. I think also talking about the future of this, I mean, we had 30 people come together, but now we've got about nearly 100 alum around the country who are interested in being part of this. So I would love to figure out, let's get this other group, let's get this bigger group together,
exactly,
right? Because it's bigger. And I think the other step, Matt, also looking at is, let's look at young men of color, right? Not just black men, but there's also young Latino men. There's other folks that I think that the outcomes are challenging too. Is there a way to create that tent? So I think those are the ways of possibility moving forward. And I look forward to partnering with you and making that happen. It was such a pleasure meeting you in DC and knowing the journey that you've been on. I'm really impressed that you continue to lead, on the playing field in the business world, now in the community. Really great to hear that. And you're also a father, right? A parent. So
I have two boys.
Boys. Yeah, right. So like, you're leading them as well, so it's great to see you model that. And I wanted to share your story. Thanks for hanging out with us today.
Well, thank you very much for having me. It's been a pleasure. I've enjoyed my Public Allies experience tremendously, and I always recommend it to anybody who ever asks or shows some type of interest in the AmeriCorps programs. It's been a great experience for me.
Awesome. And so, and we'll connect people to your LinkedIn just in case, we've got other people in our network that are doing the same kind of work, if they can connect with you, or maybe they might be in the area. They may be open for that. Okay. So thanks for being open to that.
Yeah, man, that'd be great.
Right on. Thank you, Matt Darby, for being on the show today. You take care, Matt. And in the meantime, thanks for all those. We started a little bit late today. We had some technical glitches. But stay tuned. I'll look for announcements. Usually every other Wednesday, we try to bring an alum and share their story. In the meantime, thanks again for hanging out with us today at lunch. This is Mac Antigua for Public Allies Alum Live. This was live. Take care, everybody.